Tonight, more pieces are coming together in the manhunt for the person who murdered the CEO of UnitedHealthcare.
Today, police released these new pictures of a person they want to question in connection to the shooting. The images were taken from a hostel on the Upper West Side. That's where Natalie Duddridge is live and has been talking to people about the investigation. Natalie.
Well, Dick and Christine, several new developments today, and actually just in the last couple of minutes, we have learned that a person of interest is believed to have stayed here at this hostel. Now, we spoke to people at the hostel. You are required to show an ID to check in. Well, we've just learned from sources that that person of interest used a fake ID and a fake name to possibly check in here, leaving every guest here on edge.
Police released new images of a person of interest connected to Wednesday's fatal shooting of 50-year-old UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside the Hilton Midtown. Police sources say these new surveillance images were taken before the shooting, obtained from a hostel on West 103rd Street, where detectives interviewed staff and guests.
They just asked me questions like, did you see anyone? What was it? And did you notice anything?
I saw two more and like a guy dressed like a detective, probably a detective. Then I went to my room on the 4th floor. I went to brush my teeth. When I got to the corner that goes to the bathroom, there was like another detective that he was like, no, you can't go past here.
Matthew Toronto, a guest from Brazil, said police were standing outside this door on the 4th floor. This visitor from Denmark said people he met stayed in that shared room.
They were pretty shocked because they shared a room with a person who could be pretty bad.
The hostel's website says upon check-in, photo identification and a credit card is required, adding residents of New York City cannot be accommodated at this property. Law enforcement sources say shell casings found at the shooting scene had words including deny and delay written on them. Police say they're investigating the messages as possible grudges against the insurance company and are reviewing disputes involving UnitedHealthcare and its CEO. Sources say a search warrant was executed at Thompson's hotel room, but nothing has advanced the motive or the investigation.
This is a nationwide search. This is not something that may be just germane towards New York City. This may be something that touches other parts of the country. Listen, this may come back to some type of potential problems or personal beef with Mr. Thompson that happened in Minnesota.
Surveillance photos were also released from a Starbucks. A high-ranking police source says they show the suspect before the shooting discarding a cup of coffee in the trash. Police recovered the cup and dusted it for fingerprints, which will be run through a national database. The suspect was last seen traveling on Center Drive wearing a distinct gray backpack, then captured on camera exiting the park on the west side of Manhattan without the backpack, which police are now searching for. It's possible the gun they are looking for is in it.
Now, we have also just learned in the last several minutes here from sources that sources believe that the suspect used a 9mm handgun. Also learning at this moment, investigators have been visiting gun dealers in Connecticut to determine the exact place of purchase. On the Upper West Side, Natalie Duddridge, CBS News, New York.
All right, Natalie, thank you. All
right, joining us now to talk more about the efforts to find the killer is the CBS News law enforcement contributor, Rich Esposito. Rich, a big question people are having, they have all these pictures, supposedly using facial recognition. What does that mean? Does that mean he had to have been arrested for them to find him now?
No, facial recognition can query a lot of databases. So there's a database of people who are arrested, of federal employees, city employees. Probably the insurance company has a database of their employees. So they can get access to many databases to compare the picture against.
Natalie mentioned the gun that was used in this murder. I know that you've learned that it was actually a specialized gun. What can investigators learn from that?
So what they're looking for is a gun that fires a single shot, 9mm. It's a covert type weapon. It is not sold widely. So what they'll learn, if they can, is they'll go to the dealers of that gun and try to establish if they know who this person was, because you know when you buy a gun in many states you have to give a bunch of ID. So they'll hope, because they know almost everything, and they're now trying to just get an identity.
But at least then that narrows the search, if it is a specialized weapon.
Right, it's not like you can go to any gun store and get this.
And speaking of the guns, the casings found on the ground supposedly have words written on them, deny, delay. What could that mean for investigators? It could be a message, or perhaps it could leave them with DNA or the like?
Well, you know, one message it could be, that is the behavior that people who get angry at insurance companies think insurance companies perform. They stall your claim, they deny your claim, even though you think that claim is legitimate. That's one possible motive, and they're going to look at that. Another motive they're going to look at is maybe somebody put that on there to steer you the wrong way. They won't forget to do that.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the backpack. That is going to hold a lot of clues. They need to find this bag.
They do need to find the bag, and they are going to find the bag. It's just a matter of time. If you ditch a bag in Central Park, for example, where there are less cameras, it takes more time. And Central Park has bushes and trees and meadows, and a lot of acres. So he rode the bike through the park. There are plenty of places you can hide a bag, and that's one place they're going to look.
But it looks like they're hot on his trail for sure.
I think they've made a lot of progress, yes.
All right.
Rich Esposito, appreciate having you today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. And we'll have continuing coverage on all the developments. On our website, you can find the timeline of the shooting and where police have tracked the suspect's movements. That's all on CBSNewYork.com.